Different Kind of School by E.V. Lucas is a lesson having the message about how doing simple things can make learning more interesting and easier. Learning while doing is the best way to learn different things. Moreover, other than learning routine things, we need to make ourselves aware and concerned about our environment and its problem. How can we make children more responsible and make them more aware? To know this, let's go through this lesson. I had heard a great deal about Miss Beam's school, but not till last week did the chance come to visit it. Here the narrator E.V. Lucas says that he had heard a lot about Miss Beam's school, but he got a chance to visit it the previous week. When I arrived, there was no one inside but a girl of about 12. Her eyes were covered with a bandage, means she had a blindfold on her eyes, and she was being led carefully between the flower beds by a little boy who was about 4 years younger. She stopped, and it looked like she asked him who had come. He seemed to be describing me to her, then they passed on. So when the narrator reached the school, Miss Beam's school, no one was there except a 12-year-old girl. Her eyes were covered with a bandage, and a boy who is just like 4 years younger to her was guiding her between flower beds. And she stopped as if to ask who had come. And it seems that he explained about the visitor to her. Then they passed on. And who is the visitor? Visitor is the narrator, that is E.V. Lucas. Miss Beam was all that I had expected. Middle-aged, full of authority, yet kindly and understanding. Her hair was beginning to turn grey, and she had the kind of plump figure that is likely to be comforting to a homesick child. I asked her some questions about her teaching methods, which I had heard were simple. As per the narrator's expectations, Miss Beam was middle-aged, a dominating yet a friendly and understanding figure. Her hair was turning grey, and she was fat. Plumpy means she was fat and probably was trying to make a homesick child feel at ease. The author questioned her about the simple methods she used for teaching. No more than is needed to help them to learn how to do things. Simple spelling, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and writing. The rest is done by reading to them and by interesting talks, during which they had to sit still and keep their hands quiet. There are practically no other lessons. These words are told by Miss Beam. She says that she is using some silly techniques to teach them. She is teaching them simple spelling, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and writing. The rest is done by reading to them and by interesting talks. And through conducting these interesting talks, during which they were supposed to sit silently without moving. And except this, there were actually no other lessons. The real aim of the school is not so much to teach thought as to teach thoughtfulness, kindness to others, and being responsible citizens. Look out of the window a minute, will you? She further says that the actual aim of the school was to teach thoughtfulness to the students. That is to make them sensible, kind, and concerned towards others, and to awaken them to their duties. Then she asked the narrator to look out of the window. I went to the window, which overlooked a large garden and a playground at the back. What do you see? Miss Beam asked. Now the narrator went to the window and viewed a large garden and a playground, and Miss Beam asked him what he was able to see. I see some very beautiful grounds, I said, and a lot of jolly children. It pains me, though, to see that they are not at all so healthy and active looking. When I came in, I saw one poor little girl being led about. She has some trouble with her eyes. Now I can see two more with the same difficulty. And there is a girl with a crutch watching the others at play. She seems to be a hopeless cripple. The narrator, E.V. Lucas, explained what all things he was able to see. He was able to see the beautiful grounds, many cheerful children. And he was sad to notice that some children were not healthy and active. After coming in, first he noticed a girl who had trouble with her eyes. Then he observed two more with the same kind of disability. And he also noticed a girl with a crutch who was watching the other children at play. And perhaps she was lame. Miss Beam laughed. "Oh no," she said. "She's not really lame. This is only her lame day. The others are not blind either. It's only their blind day." I must have looked very surprised, for she laughed again. Now Miss Beam laughed and explained that she was not lame, rather, it was a lame day. The others are also not blind, but are observing their blind day. She laughed again at my astonished look. My astonished look means E.V. Lucas' surprised look.